Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Suarez, and this is Retro Reviews, where films from the past are revisited in the present. During the height of Saturday Night Live veteran Chevy Chase's career, Harold Ramis's 1983 road comedy, National Lampoon's Vacation, was doubtless his most formative theatrical appearance. The film follows the misadventures of the Griswolds, a seemingly average American family, as they endure a chaotic cross-country road trip from Chicago to Southern California to visit a fictional Disney-ass amusement park called Wally World. Chevy Chase stars as the family's goofball patriarch, Clark Griswold, who strives to give his loving wife Ellen and his apathetic children Rusty and Audrey the vacation of a lifetime. Despite its audacious premise, National Lampoon's Vacation brims with bawdy humor and sardonic cultural satire. The Griswolds make several pit stops across the Midwest which hilariously complicate their trip, such as the slums of St. Louis, Missouri, where their tacky station wagon gets vandalized, and the rural plains of Kansas, where they drop in on their rowdy countryside relatives. The Griswolds themselves are beyond entertaining and memorable, as are the quirky characters they interact with on the road. The film thrives off wry yet spontaneous humor, which contrasts starkly with modern Hollywood's reliance on overwhelming vulgarity to amuse audience members. The downside to this, however, is that some contemporary viewers may find the film's humor underwhelming, even alienating. Nevertheless, National Lampoon's Vacation stands as one of the greatest cinematic comedies of all time, which is why it scores an A+ in my book. Here's the film's trailer for those who are interested in experiencing this masterpiece.
This summer, when you think vacation, think National Lampoon's Vacation. See the real America.
Hey, underpants. Hey, yellow.
It's friendly.
I'm okay.
Don't you want to look at the Grand Canyon?
It's educational.
Great.
And most of all, it's fun.
The dog went on the picnic basket.
Let Chevy Chase, Beverly D'Angelo,
Clark.
Imogene Coca, Randy Quaid, John Candy, and Christy Brinkley
Well, are you gonna go for it?
This is crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy.
take you for a ride. This summer, when you think vacation, think National Lampoon's Vacation.
Better check under the hood.
All right, thank you all for watching this segment. Now on to our next reviewer.
Welcome to our second review of the day, as we are about to dive in to over-the-top production of Quentin Tarantino, starring one of my personal favorites, Kill Bill. Released on October 10th of 2003. The film Kill Bill, directed by Quentin Tarantino, would automatically connect to the more alternative viewer, as you must have enough skill to pick up the little cue throughout the two-part franchise to solve the bigger underlying issues our main character, Kiddo, faces. She is driven to find a happy ending in a story that refuses to give her time to grieve. Kiddo is constantly pushing forward, driving the series to an end result that leaves everybody in the audience screaming for more bloodshed, while simultaneously leaving the viewer with a warm, fuzzy feeling as Miss Vertex ends the life of Bill and hugs her supposedly dead daughter in one of the very first times. The style in which this movie was scripted calls for the main character, Vertex, to be a steady narrator, constantly filling in the missing connections that couldn't be presented in the second volume movie franchise. Thurman's ability to soothingly tell the story gives you an insight to her character and is just how driven she truly is to kill Bill. It's a 10 in 10 for my recommendation. And this is Ray. My name is Ray Amato, and we'll be right back.
Hi everyone, name's Siddiqui St. George and welcome to Retro Reviews, where the only horror will be my pathetic attempt at comedy, and of course, my face. You guys have heard the Friday the 13th franchise, right? It's timeless, filled with more hits and misses than Professor Loomis on a good day. Time and time again, millions flock to the theater to see youngsters slashed by the Casey Jones wannabe Jason Voorhees in his 12th film campaign to promote safe sex in Crystal Lake. However, the question remains, what would happen if Jason went to space? Well, for all those asking and not asking, it was answered on April 26, 2002 with the release of Jason X. In the year 2010, Jason Voorhees, portrayed by Kane Hodder, is captured by the United States government and held at the Crystal Lake Research Facility. He ends up being caught and frozen in space until the year 2055, when he is awakened by our space kids, cannon fodder, and sex addicts for the movie, as they all soon learn to deal with the monster inside their future closet, as well as deal with a very painful lesson. That any scantily clad cyborg woman can whip the crap out of any monster if they have red hair, wear black, and dual-wield guns. But hell, it's hard not to hate this movie. I mean, it follows all the early 2000s movie cliches, including guns, scantily clad women, muscle-bound men, dorky boys, a Subspark-Con soundtrack, Remains 90, oh yeah, and guns. There are a lot of guns in this movie. Alright, despite the bad jokes and a 25-level kill count, this is a somewhat, movie. Not just for the fans like myself, but also for the fans of the horror genre in general. Despite it going completely off the rails from the original franchise, with the story and all, it still has the high points such as the Uber Jason, space setting, and a kick-ass fight scene between the android and Jason. If the cheese in this scene was compliments, then all the actors should be eating it up, as well as receiving condolences, because no one wants to be attached to this movie. Despite the questioning plot points for those who studied the lore and obscure characters, this gets a B+ for being a personal favorite of mine, and overall one of those films that just captures the so good it's bad nature. This has been Siddiqui, and I will see you soon.
Hi, my name is Danielle and this is Retro Reviews. The Crow is one of the best action superhero films of all time, yet it is also one of the most underrated. The Crow was released in 1994 and is directed by Alice Price. It stars Bruce Lee's son Brandon Lee in the title role, Sophia Shinas, Rochelle Davis, and Ernie Hudson. This film faced a major tragedy with the death of Brandon Lee in 1993. He was killed in a non-set freak accident when he was shot and killed with a prop gun. He was only 28 years old, and he was going to get married to his fiancée in Hawaii before his death. His death leaves a very eerie tone to the film, and it was very devastating to everyone involved, and weirdly enough, turned this movie into a cult classic. This movie is about a happy engaged couple named Eric and Shelley living in Detroit who are going to get married on Halloween. On the night before their wedding, which is known as Devil's Night, where everyone starts fires and commits heinous crimes, their house is broken into by a gang of criminals. Shelley is brutally beaten and gang raped, and Eric is shot in the head and thrown out the window. They both die, and the case is never solved. 1 year later to the day, Eric crawls out of his own grave and finds out that his soul is put into a crow, which is his connection to life. They're tied to each other, so if the crow is injured, he gets injured. With these new powers, Eric goes after the criminals who wronged him. All of the characters in this film are amazing, even the villains. All of their motives are clear from the get-go. Eric is an anti-hero who wants revenge and misses his fiancée. He has a fearsome, commanding, and somewhat funny way about him when he's on screen. He is cool. The Crow is the ultimate cool hero. I loved Brandon Lee in this film. Villains in the film are threatening and realistic. They don't behave like comic book villains, they behave like real criminals, and that's hardly seen today with superhero movies. But the most underrated character in this film by far is Sarah, played by Rochelle Davis. She has a small role, but she plays a big part in the film. Whenever she's on screen, Eric seems like a caring father figure towards her, which gives nice moments of calmness for this film, because let's face it, this film is very action-packed. You won't be disappointed when it comes to this. I have seen The Crow about 15 times since I got it on Blu-ray for my 17th birthday. Then I lost my Blu-ray copy, so now I shamelessly watch it on VHS. Even though I've obviously already seen this movie, the action never fails to thrill me. But the film still feels like a 90s film. I think you all know what kind of grade I'm going to give this movie, so I'm going to give The Crow an A+. Thanks for watching. My name is Danielle. This is Retro Reviews. This is the end of the show. Have a nice day.